We hit that record button, and I gotta fix that view, and...
Wait.
What are we waiting on? Okay.
Hidden Oaks.
You a fan of the hard rock there, Josh?
Yeah. You know what they say about hard rock?
No, what do they say?
Hurts when you get hit by it.
I guess someone has probably said that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. I am joined, of course, by our other lovely hostess, Josh. Josh?
Sup?
Not hi, folks. We have a system.
Oh.
It's okay.
Hang on. Hi, folks.
I'm crying. All right. We have an email address if you'd ever like to reach out to the show, hiddenoaksoverdose@gmail.com. You can also find our Facebook page, facebook.com/hoodpod. We got some attention this week, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. We do have the segment start times down in the description below in case you want to skip around to different segments of the pod. You'll find where to go there. Thank you, Levi Oki, for that beautiful illustration everyone can see. Levi Oki Illustration on Instagram is where you can find him. How's it going, Josh?
Grand. How's life, Gar?
Well, it's been better.
Oh, God.
It's, yeah, I mean, the same thing that happened last year as well, except instead of getting fired, I quit last year. I was also unemployed during September for the podcast last year, so it's almost like it's a cyclical thing. So I guess we'll see.
So you become unemployed about the same time that the Vikings playoff chances vanish. Got it.
I guess so. Anything new in your life, Joshua?
No, just contributed to the community today by going to an Anoka High School event where I, sat down with a group of kids. They interviewed me about what it's like to be successful, and I told them, just like Pappy said, drive a big rig, got flames on it, probably going places. So
SIGs and rigs.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're both doing fantastic, Josh. Thank you for giving back to the community. So I know I mentioned our Facebook page just a moment ago, and we got some attention today. Or not today, but yesterday. We also got some unwanted attention, Josh. There's a bit of a delay there. We are under attack. Josh, do you happen to recall what one Mr. Brian Knupp said? We received some hate mail this week is what I'm getting at, in case that's not clear.
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Josh, what? You didn't memorize every single word that Brian Knupp has ever shared with you ever?
8 words. I can barely memorize what I eat for breakfast. So, I don't know. I believe it was something along the lines of, this is your hate mail for swearing. And then a frowny face.
Right. It was like, here's your nasty email or mean letter for all the Effenheimers is what he said.
That's what it said.
And then the frowny face. So that was one of the hate mails. And then I somehow forgot to pull up the other one, but we're bringing it up now, so don't worry. We didn't get this over the official channel, so I don't even know if we should bother talking about it. But we also got some hate from Jamie. So this just comes in out of the blue Sunday evening, right? Tough Vikings loss on Sunday, so already no one's in the mood. Maybe Jamie wasn't in the mood either, but here's the text message I get, 7:36 p.m. This week's podcast should be called The Walters Show. I would like to place a complaint. That's all it says. So I'm like, all right, go for it. All it said was go for it. I didn't understand it at first. She said, nah, that was the complaint. It was just a little one because I'm winning and you say nice things. So I still don't follow Jamie's logic. But after I get it out of her, she says, the complaint is that every few minutes y'all talked about Walters. as the show's third loyalist fan, I would like more variety. That is all. So, Josh, I've already said his name like 2-3 times. And, our fan base that's in our league is calling for us to change. And I think we got to change. So what do you propose we do? How do we action that hate mail?
Well, I guess just start packing up, call it a wrap. We're done for the year.
All right, yeah, that seems good.
Yeah, no, that's option A. Option B is, who's that Wartles guy that you're talking about?
Who? You mean Walmers?
Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah. 10,000 Fakes co-host number 2.
Falters? Or is that farters?
Fartlers.
Fartlers.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right, well, we will make sure for the rest of this pod to not mention that name we were told not to mention. So,
all right.
Hopefully that'll be satisfactory to our loving fans out there. And Brian, I don't want to say fuck you because that'd be very rude, but go tuck yourself in. At least I intentionally swear on the pod, and that's not going to change anytime soon. All right, Josh, it's time for some hot takes. Do you want to go first today, or do you want to go second?
I'll go first because I think last week you were the only one that went. So
okay.
I think that this week in the NFL, this is my hot take. There's going to be a single game record broken. Single game sack record, single game interception record, single game picks thrown record, any sort of single game achievement by an individual player or the team itself. There's going to be a record broken.
So I know you're just trying to keep it general, so your hot take can potentially be accurate. Do you want to try and get more specific, just a guess on the stat or the player that breaks it?
No. I thought this was pretty ballsy.
Most fumbles in a game, Kirk Cousins goes for
No.
19?
No. That's only 2-1 odds in Vegas. So I need something with a little bit more zest for it to be a hot take.
A little more zest.
But I don't want to pick a specific stat. It's just a single game record. So if Gardner Minshew goes out there and strokes his mustache 5 times and it's the 15th time in 2 games that he's done it, and that's a record, that's not going to be what we talk about. Because it's single game
record.
Yes. So 8 touchdown passes in the first quarter by Aaron Rodgers. That's the one I'm going to go with if you make me pick.
I like it.
All right.
I like it. All right, so now on to my hot take. So this, I preface this with, this is a, Josh, have you ever watched Hot Ones? Are you a fan of the Hot Ones? Okay, well, you can either be a fan of the YouTube show Hot Ones, or you can just enjoy hot sauces. But I preface this with saying this is a Super Megadeth sauce take. That's a brand of hot sauce, Super Megadeth. My hot take for the week is that Gary Kubiak will take Zimmer's job. And I purposely did not put a time frame or a timeline on it, but yeah, that's my unfortunate take. I don't want it to be true because I like Zimmer, but I don't know.
Do you think he's doing the Jim Halpert? I don't know if you've seen that GIF or the meme of Jim Halpert standing outside the window looking through the blinds, just smiling. I think that's what he's doing right now.
That's what Kubiak's doing?
Kubiak is doing that to Zimmer right now.
Sure.
And that could be for a variety of reasons. It's probably his changing room too. So
yeah,
who knows? No, they're talking. I've heard some things about some rumblings about some change-ups going for the coaches, but
I don't know where you've heard those rumblings because I literally made it up. But
no, remember when your guy from last year? I already forgot his name.
John DeFilippo?
Yep. Remember when he got fired for not running the ball enough, and then this week he had Leonard Fournette run for 225 yards. They're talking about firing the OC on KFan. So I don't care what his name is.
Kevin Stefanski?
Yep, sure.
Gotcha. That has nothing to do with Zimmer or Kubiak, but...
Yeah, it might. Fire him. Kubiak takes over Zimmer's role. I hired the Papa John's delivery guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I guess if that's the route you're going down, sure. But yeah, that's what we got for hot takes. Josh, what do we got for news this week? A little NFL news.
Some injuries. Josh Allen, Mitch Trubisky, Dwayne Haskins...
Dwayne Haskins wasn't injured. He's just
bad.
that was the news that he got to play, but also bad.
Oh well, yeah. And then Devontae Adams, turf toe.
Is turf toe a real thing, Josh?
Turf toe is absolutely a real thing.
As someone who has suffered from turf toe, allegedly,
it is a real thing, and it is very painful. But they say it's not a serious injury, and Saquon is apparently practicing again, along with Tyreek Hill. So there's that for those of you who want some positive NFL news.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah. Do you have anything?
No, I mean, yeah, we already announced last week. We broke the news that you and I broke the news that Melvin Gordon was back. So that happened.
Oh, thanks.
Jay Gruden loses another game. He could be gone. I guess we'll have to follow that closely, but it's not news just
Do you
yet.
think John will hire him
Will John Gruden hire Jay Gruden? That's a good question.
as like a towel boy or something?
He might. I mean, I don't know. Did they coach together before? Was Jay part of John's staff when he was either with Oakland the first time or with the Bucks?
I have no idea. Could have been.
All right. Well, yeah, I have no idea.
I'd like to see John Gruden on the sideline and Jay Gruden on the sideline with him, wearing one of those like child backpacks with a leash. And then John just keeps tugging it every so often whenever Jay tries to go and do something coaching related.
Come here, Jay.
Exactly.
Jay. It is sad that John has more wins than Jay this year, but neither of them were thought to be, that great. So, all right, Josh, we got some week 4 home results, and I went first last week, so I really would feel out of line if I went first this week.
I feel like this is going to be a good summation of the home results for all of us. Is my soundboard ready?
Is your soundboard ready? I don't know. Did you? Whoa. I mean, yeah, it should be.
So this is what I feel both of us are feeling, and since it's the homer results,
No. just dough.
just dough.
Because we both lost.
Yep. I mean, I said it. Stop the run, win the game for Thursday night against Philly. They didn't. Jordan Howard ran all over him. So did Miles Sanders. Well, Miles Sanders not really, but Jordan Howard did. Rodgers did look good. He escaped some plays that I thought they were instant sacks, and he got out. He hit some tight windows, and he was pretty accurate. Everyone's going to say that he threw that interception in the end zone. That was pass interference, and it bounced off the wide receiver's arm, so it wasn't an inaccurate interception. It was just a deflection. The refs were very flag happy for both teams. Can't really blame the refs for the loss, but we can say that we definitely can't say that it wasn't a factor, because third down PI that everybody was saying, even the announcers were, when Troy Aikman agrees with us that it's a PI, something's wrong. Troy Aikman never takes the Packers' side. And then that final play of the game, replay after replay showed the pass interference. They just let it stand. So I don't know. But I'm not going to say that cost us the game, because we threw the ball on the 1 yard line 4 times in a row. And that was not smart. Try and run it in at least. Give it to that Vital guy. He's big.
You guys see what you guys are missing now, Josh. You're not going to like this, but you guys are missing the freezer on those goal line looks. You need B.J. Raji out
retired.
there to punt. Get him out of retirement, Josh. Clearly, whatever you guys are doing now isn't
have him run out of the tunnel
formula
on those plays, wearing a too small set of shoulder pads and a helmet. I got it, coach.
Just like that. All right. Do you have any other thoughts on the game?
No, I mean, 27-34, the final score. Obviously, I wanted the Packers to win. Obviously, I thought they should have won. But someone put it into perspective, a tweet that I'd seen saying that if we were 3-1 going into week 4 or week 5 after playing Chicago and Minnesota, we'd be happy. And I was like, yeah, because I had us projected at 2-2 at this point, losing to Philadelphia even.
Nice. Well, so now Josh, as you know, I've had a little bit more time on my hands the last couple days. So I've been saying it for weeks that I'm going to get the cram it up your cram hole LaFleur soundbite. Turns out, on the 3 websites I diligently searched, that soundbite was nowhere to be found. So I cannot play Cram It Up Your Cram Hole LaFleur, which is very disappointing. I do have a different LaFleur-related sound bit. I didn't really get the chance to use it, although you did kind of mention at the end that throwing the ball 3-4 times on the goal line was not the right call, so I'm just going to play this, and it's going to kind of fit. It's definitely not the same vibe I'm going for, but I'm just going to play this for you. Oh, or maybe I'm not going to play it for you. Why? Why do my things never work?
I think I found the one you're looking for.
Yeah, okay, well, the Vikings are terrible.
No, that wasn't it. Apparently, I guess it's just not on here now. That's very disappointing.
Well, folks, as you can see, one of us prepared for the evening.
Yeah. I just want to know where it is. Okay, well, I guess that's a problem I'll have to solve another day. But that is very disappointing. I had a sound clip all ready, and I just don't get to use it. Anyways.
How about that Vikings game?
The first note I left under that Vikings game was oof in all caps, and that's exactly.
I don't think you put enough oof on it.
Not enough oomph on my oof. Yeah. It was a rough one to watch. In the first half, we only had 2 possessions, and I think they both ended in turnover. One of them certainly did. If not, the second one might have just been a 3 and out. But it was just not a good look. It was not a good looking team overall. I've been saying it for, since the season started, we can't be a one-trick pony. From my armchair coaching, I'm a diligent armchair coach, plenty of flag football experience, so I know what I'm talking about, but I did not see a lot of variety in the play calling. At least it felt like that until the very end of the game. I already mentioned we did not have many possessions in the first half, so that was rough for us. The time of possession was also in favor of the Bears, which traditionally the Vikings want the time of possession in their favor, so we had the ball less overall. Kirk was still Kirk. He was not anything other than that on Sunday. I made the mistake of going into the Vikings subreddit, which was an atrocious decision. Everyone talking about how terrible Kirk is and how, we should have kept Keenum the whole time, which I still think is ridiculous, but I think Kirk was the best decision we could have made at the time. Of course, it's not working out at the moment. Is Kirk completely to blame? I don't think so, but he's certainly an easy person to blame. But, kind of with that in mind, saying, Kirk, not a lot of people are fans of Kirk at the moment, and we should have done something different at quarterback. Josh, I want to play a little game with you, okay? You ready for this? So I'm just going to list out a bunch of quarterbacks, and you're going to tell me if the Vikings. So here, let's define the scope first. Do you want to talk about Kirk Cousins' time in Minnesota just this year, or do you want to talk about Kirk Cousins since he got here at the beginning of last year?
I don't care.
Well, just pick one.
This year.
Okay. So we're going to play the game of, I'm just going to list out all the quarterbacks, and you'll tell me if we had this quarterback instead, if we would have won more games, okay? So we're currently 2-2. So you just tell me if we'd be 3-1 or 4-0 with this quarterback instead of Kirk Cousins. All right. Why is this sorted weirdly? Hold on. Okay. Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Alex Smith.
No.
Andy Dalton.
No.
Baker Mayfield.
No.
Cam Newton.
No.
Carson Wentz.
No.
Case Keenum.
No.
Chase Daniel.
Yes.
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Daniel Jones.
Absolutely.
Derek Carr.
No.
Deshaun Watson.
No.
Drew Brees.
Yes.
Dwayne Haskins.
Just put LOL.
Eli Manning.
Who? No.
Gardner Minshew.
Absolutely. 100%.
Jacoby Brissett.
Who? No.
Jameis Winston.
Nope.
Jared Goff.
Nope.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
Joe Flacco.
Yes.
Josh Allen.
Nope.
Josh Rosen.
No.
I listed out Kirk Cousins, so that doesn't make any sense. Kyle Allen.
No.
Kyler Murray.
No.
Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
Luke Falk.
No.
Marcus Mariota.
Nope.
Mason Rudolph.
Nope.
Matt Barkley.
Nope.
Matt Ryan.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
Mitchell Trubisky.
No.
Nick Foles.
Nope.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No.
Ryan Tannehill.
No.
Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Sean Mannion.
No. This is a quick game with Josh.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes.
Tom Brady.
Yes.
Trevor Siemian.
No.
All right, that's the end of the list. Okay, so after my little experiment, we have 16 yeses and 28 nos.
Gonna be honest, I was just flipping a coin in my head quite often during that game.
During the game you just played?
Decisions.
Sure. You weren't prepared. There's no scientific approach. You didn't get to prepare your answers. It was just off the gut how you feel. So what is that? I listed over 40 quarterbacks, and over, what was that, 2/3 of them you said no to, 1/3 you said yes. So I mean, Kirk Cousins is right in the middle. He's average, and I'm gonna guess all the people you said yes to, we didn't have a chance at, except for maybe someone who's a rookie, like Daniel Jones. But just a little experiment I wanted to conduct. You heard it here first, folks. Kirk Cousins is not the worst quarterback in the world forever and ever. Amen. That's pretty much all I had to say for the Homer results. Josh, do you have any other thoughts on the Chicago Vikings game?
Just that I was at Nikita's house and we were driving home during the beginning of the game, and holy cow, PA and Ron Johnson on the calls. They were basically packing up and saying it's time to go home. We won this the second Trubisky went out. And
was it not? Sorry, this doesn't matter, but it was not Peter Bursich. It was Ron Johnson. Who the hell's Ron Johnson?
Maybe it was Pete Bursich.
Okay. Sorry.
I just, but yeah, so he was basically like, we've got many opportunities here to take this and shove it down their throats for the division lead and yada, yada, yada. And just going on. And then every single time they open their mouth, a bad play would happen, a fumble, a touchdown. And I could feel the life just being drained from PA, and it made me stronger.
You love to hate PA. You really do.
I do. I love to hate the fact that he is absolutely 100,000% against admitting the Vikings will never finish 14-2. Then they will never do anything as long as he's around, because he's the problem.
I don't know that he's the problem. I mean, his job is, like it or not, his job is essentially to be the Vikings hype man.
I know.
So, okay.
But at the same time, everybody's always so high on the Vikings and so like, yeah, they're going to do great things. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. We have so much talent on this team. And granted, you guys do have talent. But at what point are people going to stop saying the Vikings are Super Bowl contenders and they're not as good as people think they are? Is it going to take another bad loss? And the Packers do it, but last year, at least the subreddit for the Packers was reasonable, saying, I mean, we're not going to make the playoffs at this point. And I'm sure the Vikings could finish 2-14 and they'll still find reasons to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what is your like in Minnesota or like just nationally? Because I mean, if you were to listen, even Mike Zimmer, he's a pretty self-aware guy. Today in his press conference, he was like, "Yeah, after that last game, pretty much everyone hopped off the bandwagon." So he knows. I mean, there's a lot of scrutiny on this team currently.
I'm talking about the Minnesota Vikings subreddit.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they were ever. I don't know if any of those people were ever fans of the Vikings. I don't know. I can't say. Maybe they subbed just for shits and gigs. I don't know. Maybe it's a bunch of Russian bots.
I'm just kidding. That was more so for Zalters listening.
Who?
Zalters.
Walmers?
Yeah, that guy.
Okay. Yeah, Balters is quite the character. Yeah, I mean, it seemed to me like we were running up the ball, trying to run the ball through the middle too much. The quick pass game, which would have been kind of the Achilles heel of the Chicago's defense, we never really did until the very end when it was too late. So I don't know. I'm going to move on.
Padding stats for that contract season.
I understand that's the criticism, but does that make sense? Does Kirk Cousins go out there and be like, all right, fuck you, coordinator, I get to play the calls now, I'm padding my stats?
No, he gets to pad the stats at the end and get that garbage time yardage and everything, because at the end, defenses are playing a little bit off the line because they're not trying to force anything, not trying to get hurt, that sort of thing. And so that's where all those stats are coming from for the most part. How do you feel about, and I know we're spending a lot of time on the home results, but it was a division game and obviously causing a lot of controversy in the state we live in. But how do you feel about everybody panicking that Diggs is going to request a trade because of how he's acting?
I think people are maybe reading into it a little bit too much. I think that's just kind of the media machine likes to spin things and likes to speculate. That's kind of their whole job. It certainly is possible. I mean, he's an emotional player. Adam Thielen's an emotional player, self-proclaimed. So, I mean, if he feels like he's not getting a fair shake, or if he feels like the organization is just, moving in the wrong direction, I mean, he has every right as a player to try and leave. Obviously, that's unfortunate, and, it could help, but we could start losing the locker room, and then Zimmer, gets a lack of confidence, and, that could be the one, that could be like the first rock that eventually turns into like a huge avalanche, so to speak, or like a giant snowball, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not reading into it too much currently. I know the big thing today was that he was not at practice, and for a not football or not injury related reason is officially what it said on the report. So I don't know. I mean, that doesn't say much. It could have been anything. It could have been personal. It could have been it could have been crack. Look. You believe this shit?
Of course.
Do you believe this shit? Well, I'm not going to answer that out of respect for our podcast listeners. But yeah, so I don't know, Josh. Do you have any thoughts on the dig situation since you brought it up?
No, I was just curious what your thoughts on it were. But we should move on to the week 4 watchable moments and kind of rush through this because I feel like we're already at 65 minutes somewhere.
We're actually, well, I mean, no, we sped through some of the earlier segments, so we're only at 25 minutes currently. That's pretty on par.
KC Detroit, very exciting. Lots of turnovers.
Lots of turnovers, but yeah, it was a very exciting game. And I was coming into the week hoping to watch it, and the game did not disappoint. I was really hoping Detroit was going to pull it off at the end. Fortunately, they did not, but it was close.
It was. I did watch the end of that game. This next bullet. Start that timer, Gar.
All right.
The mustache quarterback aficionado, Gardner Minshew, leads Jacksonville to a destructive victory over the Denver Broncos. I don't know if you saw Gar, but on that final drive, they tore both his ACLs, ripped his shins off, and killed his dog.
Well, what I heard, and I did not watch the game, Josh, what I heard is that he had a pretty rough first 3 quarters, but then he came in the clutch.
He had a pretty rough first 3 quarters, but then, yeah, he definitely came up clutch. And there was a play where he got rolled up on, and you could tell he was hurt. But he went out there, threw a nice out to, oh, boy, who was it? I think it was Chark or Westbrook, got up the sideline, got into field goal range, and then that set up the win right there. They did run the ball some. I mean, Gardner Minshew. I think he's the real deal. Nobody wants to buy into it yet, but when you have a mustache like that,
buying into it?
I've seen some things. He's still I have him on the fantasy team. We have a 5-person bench, and he's sitting on my bench right now for when he's starting to get projected 30, 40, 50 points. But he is, he's still only projected like 13 points every week. It's just like, well, all right.
I think that has something to say about Gardner. I think it also has something to say just about the quarterbacks this year have not been as fantasy relevant. But I see what you're saying. I guess if you want to put that chip on his shoulder on your behalf, then go for it. But yeah, I mean, Cleveland stomped Baltimore, aka Rex Ryan stomped Baltimore, really lit a fire under that team's ass, Baker Mayfield specifically, even though Nick Chubb won that game, not Baker Mayfield. But
Thank you, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that was a fun game to watch. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Nice highlight reel. Tampa Bay.
By God,
that's Tampa Bay's music. Yeah, I did not get to watch that game either, but just seeing the score, holy shit. Do you know what happened, Josh? Do you know any more about that game than I do, which is nothing?
That one guy, Goff, struggled.
Yeah?
Horde. Other than that, Godwin played godly. That's really all I saw from that stat line. I mean, I saw the score go up and up and up and up and up, but that was about it.
Yeah. And the last bullet I had there is Teddy Two Gloves holds on yet again. I mean, they won. Teddy did not score a touchdown. In fact, the whole team did not score a touchdown. They won the game with 4 field goals, but they were able to beat the red-hot Dallas Cowboys. So guess the Saints aren't that screwed after all with Mr. Teddy Two Gloves behind the
Nope, and that's
helm.
why he's the highest paid backup in the league.
Amen, brother. All right, Josh, let's preview week 5. And again, I think I'm going to have you go first just to avoid my own depression. But, I'm going to rant a little bit like I did last week, so I'll let you go first.
Green Bay at Dallas Cowboys. Green Bay is 3-1. Dallas is 3-0 after coming off the bye. So apparently, schedule makers want to cheat Green Bay, give them a Thursday night game followed by a bunch of bad weather, and then make them go down to Dallas where they're sitting there resting pretty. Stop the run. I mean, they're the top 3 pass defense.
Somehow.
2 years ago, they were 33rd in pass defense. Alabama had a higher pass defense. But they're the 26th ranked rush defense. I think they're allowing something like 150 rush yards a game, just something ridiculous. Rodgers typically does well in Dallas, though. That's kind of the joke, is that he owns the Cowboys Stadium. But at the same time, Devonta Adams is unlikely to play. So they're probably going to be struggling with the wide receivers they have. Hopefully Geronimo and MVS can put up some solid numbers for them. But the run game needs to be strong, and the Dallas defense isn't a joke either. So, yeah.
Yeah. I also left some notes. I just said that this game looks like it's going to be pretty interesting to me. With it being in Dallas, I think it makes it interesting. The Devonta Adams part also makes it interesting. I think this is a good test for both teams, just kind of see where they're really at. I don't know that either team has played a super formidable opponent just yet.
Yeah, I'd seen
other than their 2 losses, of course. They're two combined losses. Like they each have 1 loss. Excuse me.
I suppose I forgot. I said they're coming off a bye, but I forgot to put in the New Orleans game. So yeah, they're both 3-1. My bad.
Coming off
Stat
a bye.
correction.
Yeah.
Yeah, fact check. And I read somewhere that the DVOA, which I think it stands for the defensive value of adjustment, or I don't even know. Someone's going to correct me on that. Of their 3 wins were like the 26th, 28th, and 29th ranked. And then when they played the Saints and their offense got slowed down quite a bit, they were like the 24th, or they were only 2 higher than the bottom or the top one that they had played before. And then Green Bay's DVOA is 3rd. So apparently Green Bay has a good DVOA. I have no idea what it means, so I'm just spitting out what I'd read.
I'm going to throw this out here. I will Venmo $2 to whoever can send us in either on Facebook or via email what DVOA means, and I'll send that person $2, assuming they're correct.
All right. So before we put the podcast out, I'm going to look at DVOA online.
I will not send it to you, Josh. Okay. You cannot enter the contest.
But yeah, so that's just what I was curious is if that has any meaning or not, or if it's just another thing that people like to say.
Yeah. So before we move on to the Vikings, the sound clip was there just under the wrong button. So this is what I wanted to play in place of the cramming up your cram hole LaFleur bit.
In 23 years of broadcasting, I thought I'd seen it all, folks, but it looks like Peter LaFleur has actually blindfolded himself.
Yeah, he will not be able to see very well, Cotton.
So I know we'll have to wait until LaFleur maybe makes some coaching gaffes for that sound clip to be relevant, but that's the best I could get. So I don't know. How do you feel about that sounder, Josh?
I feel like it was unnecessary at this time, and it's slowing our podcast down. Quit insulting my head coach. Maybe Mike Zimmer needs an eye. He's blindfolded and he doesn't even have one on. Yeah, I'm making fun of a guy who had eye surgery.
Whoa, Josh. They're people too.
Me too.
All right, so Minnesota at New York. Both teams are Giants. That is, both teams are 2-2. So last week I said this exact same thing, so I just left it in the notes and I bolded it and I underlined it. The Vikings need to do more than win cushy home games. We need to steal some road wins. Right now I have us at 8 wins, not enough for the division or for the playoffs. So I have to say the exact same thing again this week. And I think for me personally as a fan, this is not the case for the team because 2-2 is not a death sentence. No one in the NFC is 4-0, as Mike Zimmer put it in his press conference. So the only one defeated team is 3-0. So we're only 1 game behind anybody, but this game is make or break for me as a Vikings fan this season. If they cannot go into New York and beat the Giants on the road, I'm calling it curtains for the Vikings this season, and I will just care less. I mean, I'll be having a more laissez-faire approach. This game, we should win, plain and simple. And even if we win this game, I still have us at 8-8, which is very depressing, but hopefully it could at least build some momentum, potentially.
No, it's fine.
The other note I have is this is certainly a game we can lose, which I guess kind of leads to my personal sense of urgency. We need to start hotter. This team is meant to start hot. That's kind of how they play. That's the whole system they built is we start hot, and then we play good defense, and we run the ball. And in our 2 losses, we did not do that. I don't know much about the Giants, but if Chase Daniel can look like God, woof. We're gonna have a rough go of it. So I don't know. I don't have any other thoughts on that other than this is a game we should and must win.
Yeah, I mean, rookie quarterback, no Saquon, questionable defense. This should be a game that you guys should win by like 20. And honestly, even if you win, but it comes down to like a 3-point game or something, that's a loss. That is not a good win, especially if it's a come from behind win against an Eli Manning clone and Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman Jr., Josh, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Show some respect for the Gall. How dare you have the Gall? Even funnier joke. All right. You have any other thoughts on the Vikings game coming up, Josh?
No, not really.
All right, Josh, let's talk about some other Week 5 tingles and jingles. What are you excited for around the rest of the league this week, Josh?
Jacksonville, Carolina. Gardner Minshew.
That should be a good one.
Honestly, I'm excited just for football. So Tampa Bay, New Orleans last year was another slugfest.
Insane.
I'm pretty sure both teams just had one guy on defense trying to stop everybody because that game got
stop.
That
Seriously?
guy got that score got way up there too. The Rams at Seattle, I see you have on there. That's going to be a good game as well. But no, I'm just excited for football on Sunday. And it's one more day closer to going back to work. Yeah.
I think that's everyone's favorite part of the week. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to add. So moving on to locks and upsets, Josh. We're gonna play a little background music. This is the closest we're ever gonna get on a copyright claim. But since we stole this from Fox, we might as well honor them with their music. I'm gonna play it a little quieter so we can actually hear what we're saying. Josh, do you care to mention who is still perfect on the locks and upsets leaderboard?
I think we're all children in God's eyes, and it doesn't necessarily matter who's winning or losing.
We're all children in God's eyes? What are you going for there?
I don't know. I don't care who's winning or losing. I'm just here to have fun. I'm just kidding. Jalen's winning. He has 12. There's like a 12-way tie at 9, and then a couple 8s, a 7, a 6, and Aaron, you suck at 5.
Yeah, Aaron is having a very rough go of it.
Is he picking the Vikings every week?
Yeah, I mean, he can't pick the Vikings every week. I can say that his two upsets have been the Vikings at Green Bay and at Chicago, and obviously neither of those came true. So,
hey, Aaron, you should pick the Vikings again.
He can't this week, Josh. He'd have to wait another week.
So you're going to win, and then next week you're going to lose.
I guess so. I guess that's the strategy he's going with. But yeah, I personally think it's pretty incredible that Jalen's still perfect, and then T and Kyle, Brian, you and me are all nipping on his heels, and some other guy that we won't talk about, Fartles or whatever his name is, Falters.
He doesn't even watch football.
That's true. I did get his locks and upsets for this week, but that doesn't matter just this second. So, Josh, who do you got this week for locks and upsets?
I have Minnesota over New York as my lock. I feel like they're going to correct the ship.
I was going to say, I want you to discuss that a little bit further, because I was personally shocked when I saw that was your lock for the week after a shaky team we've been.
Yeah, no, that's my lock, mostly because if they win, I'm happy because I got the points. And if they lose, I'm really happy because it's Minnesota losing to the Giants. My upset is Cleveland over San Fran. I don't think San Fran is as good as a 3-0 record. Cleveland's coming off of a hot game. I think that they're going to go into San Fran and show them Niners who's boss.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but it certainly would be an upset if it did. I still like the Niners this year. They are undefeated. All right, so we have, for me, I've got Philly over the Jets as my lock. I hadn't picked a softball lock just yet, but I needed to now just to try and keep myself in the game. So I'm going Philly over Luke Falk and the Jets. And then for my upset, I've got Buffalo over Tennessee. Currently, Tennessee is favored by 1 point, but that's assuming Josh Allen plays. If Josh Allen does not play, I'm going to change my upset on Sunday morning. So I guess it's a game time decision on what my upset's going to really be. I might switch it to I forget what one of the other games was. I think it was Jacksonville. Whoever Jacksonville's playing is going to have them beat whoever it was. I don't know. But that's what I got. Eric's has Philly over the Jets as well as his lock, and then he has Cleveland over San Fran as his upset. Wow, Eric's, you're incredibly original. So this other person, we can't mention their name, but they just submitted their locks and upsets live. They've got their lock being Minnesota over the Giants, and then they have their upset being Atlanta over Houston, which I think is interesting. Houston has really thrown me for a curve this year. They should be a more dominant team than they have been, and yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Jalen, who almost always has his picks in on Tuesday, does not have his picks in yet. Mr. Perfect, I guess, is maybe starting to overthink it and hasn't sent them in yet. So, Josh, I see you just added some. Do you want to?
Yeah, my lovely wife texted me the other day, and I forgot to add it to the spreadsheet because I was just too busy thinking about how much I love her.
Wow, nice save.
She has Kansas City for her lock. I don't know who they play this week off the top of my head, and I'm too lazy to look it up, but Kansas City versus all is who I put. And then her upset was Buffalo over Tennessee. And so when I looked this afternoon, it was actually a 3.5 point spread. So I don't know if you'd look sooner than that or not.
No, I mean, right now I can see it in a screenshot that was just sent to me. It's Tennessee's favored by 1, but
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it could have been different then. Who knows? And then, so that's all we got for week 5 locks and upsets. Josh, intro our next segment, please.
Are you playing background music?
I'm not. No, that's inside your house.
J Minis. Oh, so hang on. Next segment.
Josh, if I'm asking you to intro it, you should know.
Week 5 Fantasy Fun Time.
Brought to you by Strawberry Arnold Palmer. Ding. That was Josh. That was beautiful. You almost brought me to tears there. Of course, the Fantasy Fun Time always starts with our grain of salt, and I am continuing to follow my last year's performance, which is really depressing me week after week as I look at it. But I went 4-4 last week. I'm no better than 3-1 in some of my leagues. I'm 3-1, I guess, 2 leagues, but those are not the expensive ones. So, woof. I'm having a tough go of it, Josh. I am 17-15 on the year with a 53% winning percentage, and I could be better. What's your grain of salt?
I somewhat righted the ship this week. I went 4-1. I lost in the Victoria's Secret League, and it looks like I'm going to lose again this week because Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill were my first and second round draft picks, and they're not playing. And so last week I played the week high. I just got stomped, so that's bad. But I'm 3-1 in the family league with Nikita, and so the team we co-own, probably due to her picks. Actually, all due to her picks because she said to pick Dak. And then I am 2-2 in both the dynasty leagues and 4-0 in the redraft league. And that's 13-7 overall for a 65% win percentage.
Nice. Not bad for a white guy, as someone I, respect used to say. Actually, he probably still says it, but all right, Josh. So now we have the top performers of the week. Do you care to impress me?
Quarterbacks. Winston, 29.3. Aaron Rodgers, 25.5. And Lamar Jackson, 24.5. Running backs. Last week it was wide receivers. This week it's running backs. Running back Chubb, 39.3. Christian McCaffrey, 33.9. No! And Jordan Howard, 32.5. Wide receivers, Chris Godwin, like I said earlier, godly, 41.2. Robert Woods, 29.4. And Devonta Adams, 28, despite getting injured midway through the fourth. Tight ends, Hooper, 22. Disley, 18.7. And Jimmy Graham, the one-hand dropper, 18.1.
You have an absolutely breathtaking hiney.
This is the year of the tight end, Gar. There's a lot of decent tight ends out there.
Those are some nice tight ends out there. Those are fantastic.
It's a good thing we have a position specific to the tight end, because if it wasn't there, none of these guys would be getting this recognition.
I mean,
none of them.
Maybe they should just outperform the wide receivers.
All right, studs and duds. How'd you do?
Well, Josh, I don't mean to brag, but I happen to be the only person last week who got a stud or a dud accurate, and I only got one of my 2 accurate, but I had Deontay Johnson as my stud. He got a tutter, so he's projected 9.8. He smashed that with a 17.7, and then Devonta Freeman I had as my dud, projected 13.6. He actually got 18, so that's a -4 there. Overall, I was positive 3.5 points on El Wico.
I had Josh Gordon as my stud. That game was kind of a struggle bus for everybody on the Patriots offense, it looked like. He was projected 12.8. He got 7.6 for -5.2. Dalvin Cook was my dud, and all the way until the fourth quarter, he was a dud. But he was projected 18, and then he got 19. I'm pretty sure 17 of the 19 were in the fourth quarter. And so that's a -1, bringing me to a -6.2 net that week.
Oh man, I clicked off the page for just a second. Excuse me. Eric's had Keenan Allen as a stud. He was projected 20.3, which is a pretty high projection for a stud. Very bold move there. Only got 9.8, so that's -10. But then Todd Gurley, as he called it, Todd Gurley was going to go off. He was projected 15.6. Todd Gurley ended up getting 26. So I guess Eric's was right and wrong at the same time. Overall, Eric's was -21 on the week, which is brutal.
My lovely wife also had Keenan Allen for negative 10.5.
Allen,
Allen.
please.
Yep. And then her dud was Stephon Diggs. Very similar to Dalvin Cook. Didn't really do much till the fourth quarter, late in the game. He finished with 15.8 and was projected 10.9 for negative 4.9. Her net was negative 15.4.
Lastly, we have that one dude we can't talk about due
Walmers.
to contractual reasons. He had DeAndre Hopkins as a stud, projected 17.7. Again, pretty high for a stud projection. Only got 7.1, so that's negative 10 there. Had Alshon as the dud, outscored his projection by 1.3. So overall, that dude was negative 12 on the week. Yikes. So I don't know if your other bullet point there comes into effect now or later, but I mean, do you want to talk about the leaderboard or do you want to talk about your let's overreact note? I don't know.
Let's do the stud dud leaderboard now.
Oh yeah, all right, go for it.
So Garlic in the lead. Nikita in second with negative 4.5. Garlic's in the lead with 33.7. He's the only positive. There, I said it. Nikita in second with negative 4.5. I'm in third with negative 8.4. Zolmers is in fourth with negative 13.8. And Eric's gives up at negative 45.8.
Yeah, it's Eric's is having a very tough go of it. And I had to text him today to get his studs and duds out of him. I thought that guy had maybe,
Text him. They have phones out there?
Well, I have Facebook messaging him, if we're being very specific. Although I think he does have a phone. But anyways, yeah, that man, he's been struggle busting, and so I think he's less incentivized to get his picks in every week.
Yeah. So now you mentioned something new, and that's something that I want to do. We're at the quarter of the season point right now. Week 4, so a lot of teams
Week 4 of 17, everyone knows it's a perfect quarter.
Perfect quarter. But as far as the fantasy season goes, including the playoffs, it's a quarter of the way through.
That's true.
So now we're going to do something where I'm shaking things up without stirring up emotions.
Whoa!
Yeah. And I want us to overreact. So I'm going to give you, I'm going to go by position. I'm going to give you their total fantasy points, kind of their average, their projected finish, and then I want you to guess the player.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you their ranking as well.
Will they at least get their position? Or want me
Yep, yeah. So I've got, this might take a while.
Sure. Josh, I'm down. I got nothing but time.
Yep. No, and our listeners, they've got nothing but respect.
I think they would enjoy this entertainment, though. I think anyone who sat there and listened to my quarterback game earlier, I think they enjoy kind of the point of it at the end. So
yeah,
take your time.
So the 8th ranked quarterback.
8th, okay.
Has 933 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. He has 76.5 total fantasy points for an average of 19.1 through 4 weeks. His projected finish is 305.6 points with a comparison to Drew Brees' finish last year of QB8.
So I think this one was potentially spoiled for me yesterday, but I'm going to guess Gardner Minshew.
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you to the end.
Oh, okay.
So next, quarterback ranked 16. He has 1,069 yards, 6 touchdowns, and an interception for total fantasy points of 66.1. His average through 4 is 16.5. His projected finish is 264 points, which is good enough for quarterback 15 in last season, who is equal to Mitch Trubisky.
Jared Goff.
No.
I'm doing great so far.
It's tough. It's not going to be something.
I'm basically
not
throwing a dart at the 1 and the 32 board.
The follow-up, the conclusion of this is where we're going to have the fun.
Okay.
Ranked, the next one, ranked 4. He has 1,143 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
This is still quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I have 3 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 3 tight ends.
Okay.
So he has 91.2 total fantasy points, 22.8 average. Get off of ESPN.com. His current projected finish is 364.8, which is compared to last season Matt Ryan of QB2.
And this was QB4, you said?
This is QB4 at this time.
I gotta go with Dak on that one.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes!
Now,
Yes!
The reason I did this game is because, obviously, let's overreact. The first player was Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota's QB8?
Marcus Mariota's QB8 at this time. He is ranked ahead of a lot of quarterbacks. The 16th rank that I put on there, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, did I not say Aaron Rodgers?
Nope, you said.
Oh, I said Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Damn.
And then Dak Prescott was obviously correct. The reason I did it this way is Marcus Mariota the 8th ranked quarterback, is a free agent at this point in time in our redraft league.
And he's going to stay a free agent if I have anything to say about it.
Whereas Aaron Rodgers was drafted 58th overall in his 16th, and Dak Prescott drafted 154th in his 4th. So
it's been a weird quarterback year.
Weird quarterback year. Next, we're going to do running backs. We have 2. Running back.
2, count them, 2.
Ranked 25. He has 157 rush yards for 0 touchdowns, 17 receptions, and 133 yards for 0 touchdowns. He has 44 total points, which is an average of 11, if you can't do math. His projected finish is 176 total points, which would be good right between RB 21 and 22 last season for Matt, and that's Mack and Yeldon.
Who was it? Or what was the rank again?
25.
Joe Mixon.
Incorrect. Next, ranked 6. He has 328 yards and 5 touchdowns, 7 receptions for 62 yards and no touchdowns. He has 76 total points, 19 average through 4. He's projected to finish RB 5-6 in between there, which was comparative to last year of Zeke Elliott and Connor. He has 304 projected points.
I'm totally stalling, not so I can think, just so the fans at home can think. RB6. I don't know. Is it still Saquon, even though he's injured?
Negative.
Damn
it is
it.
Mark Ingram.
No! Oh, Mark Ingram has been lighting up this year. I didn't know he was quite as good as 6. But...
Mark Ingram is ranked 6th, and Devonta Freeman is ranked 25th.
Oh, Devonta Freeman was the first one.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Devonta Freeman was drafted 25th overall in our redraft league. So it's
pretty early.
Pretty early.
The beginning of round 3.
Mark Ingram was drafted 55th. And there is 19 spots between them at this time.
I do feel confident that due to the law of averages, Mark Ingram will come down. Maybe I'm wrong because that offense has been red hot, but I don't think Mark Ingram will finish there.
And that's kind of part of this game is
right.
The overreaction part. Do you think that these guys, I mean, quarterbacks, you've already said it's a weird year. It's kind of, I'm not even going to make you predict that, but as far as RBs, do you think Devonta Freeman's going to outscore his 176 projected finish?
He's only projected 106 fantasy points on the year?
176. If you were to continue at the pace he's on right now through 4.
I mean, was that RB 25? I definitely think he could finish at RB 25. Unless he gets some more scores in there.
And then Mark Ingram, do you think you already said he's going to...
I personally don't think so, but again, if that offense continues the way it is, Mark Ingram has been getting the ball a lot more than I thought he would. So,
all right, next, this is going to be, like I said, folks, it's going to take some time.
Josh, we got nothing but time.
So this is wide receivers. He's ranked 37. He has 24 receptions, 246 yards and 0 touchdowns for 50.6 fantasy points.
What's that rank again?
37.
Okay.
12.7 is his average through 4, and he's projected to finish with 203.2 points, which was last year equivalent to Calvin Ridley, and that final was wide receiver 22.
Okay, and you said 0 touchdowns, right?
Yep.
That's the thing that should stand out to me, but it's not off the top of my head. I'll go Brandon Cooks. I don't know if he has any touchdowns this year.
It is not Brandon Cooks.
Damn it. No!
Next is... Oh, I almost said the name. Next is rank 39, 13 receptions, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns for 49 fantasy points. So very close to this individual. Through 4, that's an average of 12.3. Projected finish is 196.8 points, which was, I think, spot on with Adam Humphries of wide receiver 24 last year.
For some reason in my head, this is popping out as Calvin Ridley, so I'm guessing Calvin Ridley.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Next, wide receiver 3. He has 26 receptions, 386 yards, and 4 touchdowns, which is 88.6 fantasy points. That's an average of 22.2 through 4. His projected finish is 355.2 points, which is well over what Tyreek Hill scored last year as wide receiver 1.
This is wide receiver 3. Oh, don't do this to me, Josh. I know he had a really bad week in there. Oh, no, that's not going to be right. This is tough. I'm going to go Amari Cooper.
Incorrect. So starting from number 3, just to give you an idea of it, it's your guy, Chris Godwin.
Oh, Josh, Chris Godwin was on my mind. I purposely changed it. Damn.
Chris Godwin drafted 54th overall. He is currently wide receiver 3. The two in front of him are Keenan Allen and Cooper Kupp.
I'm pissed I didn't get that one.
Number 37, Cole Beasley.
Ooh.
He's a free agent right now.
Of course, yes. He's Cole Beasley.
But 39, the person he is currently ahead of, is Adam Thielen, who was drafted 22nd overall.
Ooh, I should have known you were going to sprinkle a Viking in there. You dog. Damn it.
I put my Packer in there, so I had to put the Viking in there.
Damn it. All right.
And honestly, Stephon Diggs is right there too at like 38 or something like that, 40.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Moving on to tight ends, I got 3 tight ends for you. This is the 27th ranked tight end.
Okay.
10 receptions, 131 yards for 21.1 points, which is only a measly 5.3 points average. He's projected to finish at tight end 23, which is equivalent to Jesse James, with a total of 84.8 points.
So I'm going to guess this is someone who was kind of, if he fell this far, it's probably someone who was drafted high. It's not Kelsey. It's not Ertz. It's not Kittle. Who would the tight end forward been out of the draft? It's not Evan Ingram. I know that. I'm going to go... fuck, I don't know, Josh. This is tough. I want Vance McDonald, final answer.
Very, very close in the rankings, I believe, if I
Damn
remember
it.
correctly.
No!
So good guess. Next is going to be ranked 15.
Okay.
He has 11 receptions. Oh, I gave it away by saying the gender. Damn it. 11 receptions, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 32.6 overall points, average of 8.2, and he's projected to finish as tight end 11 with 131.2, and his last year's comp was Rob Gronkowski.
All right. This one, for whatever reason, popping out to me as Jared Cook, so I'm going to say Jared Cook.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
No! This is tough. So next is ranked 3.
Okay.
He has 23 receptions, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns for 67.6 points, which is an average of 16.9. He's projected to finish as right in between tight end 2 and 3, who last year that was Ertz and Kittle, respectively, with 270.4 points.
You have an absolutely breathtaking Heine.
That sounds like a good one, Josh. I think it threw me a bone here. I got to go with my boy Waller.
Incorrect.
Damn it, Josh. No.
So, but Waller is actually, hang on, I'm actually pulling this one up because the tight ends was an interesting one. And I honestly, the reason I had 3 of a lot of them was because of just the parity and the drafting and everything. The number 1 tight end right now is Evan Ingram.
Yep. Okay.
Waller is 5.
Damn it. Okay.
But Waller and the number 3 are actually very close as far as overall points. They're only 2 points separates them.
Okay. It was number 3.
Number 3 right now is Mark Andrews.
Mark. Oh, Josh. Again.
I thought you were gonna. Mark Andrews. He is the 3rd ranked tight end, and he was drafted 154th overall. So. Yeah.
By you?
Yeah. I mean, thankfully he's doing well because I have him in all my leagues.
Yeah.
Ranked 27, so the first one I read off, O.J. Howard, drafted 56th overall.
Yeah, he's Bruce Arians does not like his tight ends.
No. Bruce Arians like flabby tight ends. Flabby ends, I should say.
Flab ends.
The next one, the one kind of right in the middle of the two, in a 14-person league, you'd think could potentially be rostered. O'Shaughnessy from Jacksonville. He's a free agent, and he is ranked 15 right now. So, though he is much more, I mean, he has 1 more catch than Howard, less yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he is touchdown dependent on that.
Right.
But yeah, so I just thought it would be fun to kind of go through, see like, I mean, obviously Marcus Mariota has 8 overall. No one would have seen that coming in. Aaron Rodgers is 16th overall. You know, I guarantee no one's going to drop Rodgers for Mariota. But it's also a, but I thought it was just fun and interesting to look at because obviously a lot of these guys are going to come down to earth. A lot of them are going to excel. I pulled up the tight ends because George Kittle,
boy.
He's currently ranked
I'm gonna guess.
13th.
Oh, I was gonna say 10, 13. Okay.
But that's because he had a bye week in there. On his
That's right.
average, he is ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Ha! Exactly what I said.
Yep. And so I was going to put him in there, but with the bye week, I figured it was unfair just because the points would be lower.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that was a little bit of my game. Took a little bit long, but it was
I enjoyed that.
an interesting look at the way we drafted. Obviously, guys like Dak and Mark Andrews were steals. So was Chris Godwin, and then Ingram, because if they're the 6th ranked running back, usually that's first round.
Yeah.
I mean, his comparison was Zeke and Connor. Both Zeke and Connor were gone in the first round. Godwin was drafted 54th last year. Hill was wide receiver 1, and he's blown it out of the water. I think it's like 40 more points than Hill was last year.
I believe it.
So it's interesting I thought it was interesting to see, and so we might do another one at the halfway point. Who knows?
I was gonna say I think about every 4 weeks. I think that's good. I'm pretty sure I won't have a game next time. So if you come up with another game for 4 weeks from now, I think that'd be great. I enjoy that.
Perfect.
All right. So I know I'm gonna propose what we do to fly through the remaining studs and duds for week 5, but I do have to get to an item I neglected to address earlier. So Jamie, our lovely hate mailer, she did propose a lock and an upset for this week, and I would feel guilty if I did not announce those. So Jamie Hammer rather. Her lock of the week is New Orleans over Tampa Bay.
Stone cold lock of the century. All the week.
That's a sounder I've never stolen from anyone. And her upset of the week is San Fran over Cleveland, which is actually not an upset, of course, because a lot of people's upset is Cleveland over San Fran. San Fran is favored, but it's Jamie's first time. I figured I'd throw her a bone. That's who she's got for her second pick. So.
Maybe her dyslexia got to her.
It might have. I know she's a doctor now, so I mean, hopefully that dyslexia isn't, too serious of a condition, because otherwise, it might be some iffy prescriptions or some iffy charts out there. But it's possible.
I'm prescribing you 500,000 milligrams of Adderall.
Josh is like, yes, please.
Yes, please. I want a heart attack just by looking at it.
All right, so Josh, here's my proposal. I'm going to fly through all the studs, and you fly through all the duds.
Yeah, I thought I had to take my wedding ring off for that, but no, okay.
Well, we'll get to that post-pod. We'll do it while the music's playing. You know how we sometimes talk when the music's playing? We'll discuss
Coitus.
that then.
Got it.
Well, easy with the words. All right, so I'm going to go through all the studs. I have Will Dissly this week. Josh, you have Zeke. Eric has Tyler Lockett. Nikita has Julian Edelman. Walters... Oh, no! I did it. That person's name has Teddy Bridgewater. We have two celebrity shots in the studs and duds this week. Jamie Hammer has Julian Edelman, just like your wife Nikita, and then Mr. Hammer has Adam Thielen as his stud this week.
I think last week I did this too. I'm gonna do an on-pod change.
Oh God.
Because I agree with you.
What?
Yeah. This was one of the names that was bouncing around in my head, and I didn't know his projection at the time. But your dud of the week is Le'Veon Bell. Mine is now Le'Veon Bell. I'm changing from Goff. So watch Goff throw negative 10 points worth of points up, and Le'Veon Bell score 100. But beside the point. Eric's Terry McLaurin. Nikita, Carson Wentz. And I do have to say, she had one of the most ballsy duds on the planet, in my opinion. And if it ends up being a dud, I am going to remarry this woman because of her call. But she had Zeke as her dud at first against Green Bay's terrible run defense.
TRBL. Another sound clip I couldn't find.
But she changed to Carson Wentz when she looked at the matchup. What?
Well, see, Josh, I slipped, and I felt really bad about it. But that dude...
Runner-up to most fantasy championships. He has Austin Eckler. Jim Jam 93. Jim Jam 93 has Dick Prescott. And Mr. Morissette has David Montgomery.
Mr. Morissette, that's nice. He did leave a comment saying that David Montgomery underperforms every week. So
very true. Matt Nagy doesn't know how to use a running back that can run.
That's true. All right, Josh, last part of Fantasy Fun Time is your bold fantasy-related predictions, and I saw you put one in.
I did, because you gave me a hard time for not doing it last week. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Marquez Valdez Scantling.
Never heard of her.
Is going to be a top 5 wide receiver for week 5.
And you're saying that with or without Devonta Adams
With
in the game?
or without Devonta Adams in
That's
the game.
bold. You know, Josh, I didn't have one, but in the spirit of you just stealing them at the last second, I'm going to say Geronimo Allison is going to be a top 5 wide receiver this week.
You know, I really hope both of them are.
Specifically without Adams, of course.
I really hope they are.
I'm sure you do. But
If both of our predictions come true, then I'm going to go I'm going to go ahead and say the Packers win.
We'll see. We will see.
Redraft week 4 results.
Wow, Josh, that was beautiful.
We've got the side bet Sunder. What?
Side bet sounder, Josh.
True that every man has his price. And it's also true that money won is a lot sweeter than money earned.
Now he's a philosophizer.
We are now philosophizers, Josh.
I love the Sounder, by the way.
You like that? We're going to play that every week.
Awesome. The side bet winner this week was T with Goff, 20.7 points.
What was
and
the side bet,
bet was closest to 21 without going over. Blackjack. So yeah, Goff, 20.7. Notable mention, Phillip Rivers with 20.4. That was my guy. The closest game of the week, and I put a bunch of dots in there because the closest game of the week was separated by 12.5 points, and that was
also America's game of the week.
That was Jamie beating Nikita by 12.5. Overall, Nikita kind of felt like she'd lost going into the Monday night game just because a lot of her players underperformed, but so did Jamie's players, so it ended up being close because of your stud pick.
You're welcome, Nikita.
Biggest blowout? Yikes. I smothered Derek. I scored 100. I beat Derek by 105.6 points.
Are you proud of yourself beating up on an old decrepit man like that?
That is more than I think 4 people in our 14-person league scored total.
Yeah, I mean
it's more than double his score.
There you go. That's that was a beat down, certainly.
Brief walkthrough of all games, and let's talk about the standings.
Okay, well, we're going to do one of those at a time.
I thought you just wanted me to read them.
No. So I beat Bradley 124 to 106.
You beat off Bradley, okay.
Well, that's right. You already mentioned Jamie beating Nikita. You beat Derek by a lot. T beat Brian 113 to 61. Garrett beat Robin 124 to 109. Jesse beat Hammer 116 to 101, and Willie took the smacketh down to Nate 135 to 113. And so, Josh, I do have a standings sheet in here. If you would like to navigate to that, I just put.
I'm already on it, brah.
Well, that makes one of us. Okay, there we go. So I wanted to just have a little fun sorting this by the different categories, and I'm going to quick apply a filter to it. Well, live pod filtering here, folks. Math
Too
is
bad
fun.
you can't do that with your language.
What is this, Brian? What is this, Brian? So just quick rundown to the actual standings. So Jamie and you are both 4-0. We then have Nikita and Jesse and Garrett at 3-1. 2-2 is Willie, me, and Brian. 1-3 we have Andrew, Robin. What's that next one there? Bradley and Nate.
And T.
And T somehow has a win. And then last place is Derek at 0-4.
Good God.
So we're just going to do top 3 in points for. So Willie has the most points for at 598. Jamie is a far cry away at 519 in second. And then Josh, you're in third at 509. You're the 3 people above 500. The next honorable mention there would be Nikita, who's in 4th place at points 4. So points against. First, let's see who's been lucky so far. Josh, you happen to have the fewest points against at 330. Must be a nice cakewalk. Jamie's in second at 417 points against. Nikita is in third at 421. And then Tyler, yikes. Dude that's definitely going to be last place is in 4th for points against. So if that dude had any resemblance of a team, he would be dominating currently.
Maybe he should have looked and seen that Melvin Gordon was in a holdout and not taking him.
I mean, he knew he was in a holdout. I guess he thought it was going to work out the same way Zeke did and show up by week 1. I would assume.
I guess.
And he also had Eckler, so. Anyways, so who's having the worst luck so far in the league this year? Derek. He's in last place at 0-4, the only 0-4
You're
team.
welcome.
He has 568 points against. Josh definitely helped that this week. Willie, he's at 502 against, which is why he must be 2-2 versus 4-0, having the most points for. And then Brian is also having a tough go of it. Not only is his team cursed, continually either getting injured or just leaving the league flat out, he has 498 points against. So the last thing worthy of note, we're just going to talk about moves here. Why did that?
That is definitely not in order that makes sense.
No, and I guess it won't filter the right way, so that's weird. But anyways, Brian has the most moves at 13 this year, and then Josh, you're in second at 9, and then Garrett is in third at 3. Brian, of course, making all those moves because, again, his team is cursed, and they're all either leaving the league or are injured. So,
Brian, you should pick up some Vikings.
should he pick up some Vikings?
Now, I just want to point out, Nate is not in the top 4. I guess he's tied for 4th.
With moves you're talking?
Yep.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Nate, I love you, buddy. Give me a call sometime.
So again, this is kind of a longer pod, but we're just going to keep going. Josh, we're going to now do the ESPN has that final standings projections thing for whatever godforsaken reason. But Josh,
it is the stupidest thing on the planet. I've said it multiple times.
Speaking of Josh, though, you were projected to win the league on draft day. So right after the draft, you were first, Willie was second, Jesse was third, Hammer was fourth, I was fifth, Bradley was sixth, Derek was seventh, Nate was 8, Garrett 9, Robin 10, Jamie 11, Nikita 12, T 13, and Brian 14. Now bringing it up to current day, T is projected to come in last place. I don't know why I sorted it Z to A. That doesn't make any sense. So currently, Jamie is projected to win the league after, being projected 11th on draft day. Willie is in second. Josh, you are now projected to come in third. Nikita 4th. Me 5th. Hammer 6th. Nate 7th. Garrett 8th. Brian 9th. Derek 10th. Jesse 11th. Robin 12th. Brad 13th. And T, where he belongs, all the way at the bottom, he's projected to come in last place. Any other thoughts on the standings there, Josh? I know we were just kind of flying through them, but
no, I mean, I say it's stupid, and I literally tested it out, and it makes sense that it would change, but I picked up a defense that was rated projected to get 6 points one week, and I went from 10th place to 8th place. Dropped them, picked up one that was projected to get 8 points, so more points. And I went from 10th place to 11th place.
So you're saying it's a very fragile system.
So I'm saying it's very, very fragile. And much like Monday Night Football on ESPN, it is full of boogers.
I guess I haven't seen any boogers, but I'll have to take your word for it, Josh. You would not
Booger
lie.
McFarland.
I know, but I was talking about the ESPN final projection thing. I understand the Booger McFarland reference, of course. The Booger Mobile from last year. Who didn't love the Booger Mobile?
Can we do an American poll real quick? Yeah, so I put that question out on Twitter right now.
Yep.
And I'm getting a resounding 155,376 say they hated it. And one person, Booger McFarland, says he loved it.
Yeah, Booger knows best. So
you're right.
All right, Josh, we're moving on to the Week 5 preview. Okay, you ready for this shit?
Yep.
Okay. So the first matchup we have. Well, what's the side bet for this week, Josh?
Great question. I'm glad you asked.
I could read it if you're not that ready.
I am not on it right now.
You're not on it, Josh.
Biggest loser. Highest scoring team that loses. So an incentive for those of you, Derek, that lose all the time.
Just have the best losing team.
Exactly. So.
Or play the highest score of the week.
And if for whatever reason there's a tie, we're going to go with the highest scoring player between those teams.
All right. I like it.
Just saying.
All right. So, Josh, are you adhering to your second bullet there?
Nope.
All right, well, I'll just get into the first matchup then. The first matchup I have listed here is Jamie versus Josh. So last week, Jamie was in America's Game of the Week, and Jamie, again, will repeat America's Game of the Week. Josh, she plays you. The two remaining undefeated teams are going head-to-head this week. The only note I wrote down is that Josh certainly has a chance, but ... Kermit. I'll give you the chance to break down the matchup further, but I'm definitely giving this matchup to Jamie.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Jay as well. Just because then if I win, I still kind of win because I projected Jay and my name starts with J.
You're so humble.
But Devonta Adams going down is not a good, it's not help. That's my first round draft pick. 14-person league, it kind of hurts. But, I'm actually kind of shocked I'm projected to be within 9 points of her. So win or lose, good luck, Jamie. Hate your guts. I hope you lose.
Nice.
Win or lose, though.
Gotta love the sportsmanship in there.
Next up, we have the Sky Ball Busters at 2-2 going against Team Mitchell. Very original.
He's definitely blue balls at this point.
Yep. Nikita at 3-1 going against Brian 2-2. At this time, Nikita's projected to win 113 to Brian's 103.5. Overall, I'm going to go with Nikita on this one.
I will also go with Nikita.
I think she's got a very solid team. I like how her top two of the three projected leaders are both quarterbacks.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian's team is cursed, so something else. Deshaun Watson's going to end his career today or on Sunday. I don't know, dude. Some shit's going to go down.
Hang on. Sleeper says Deshaun Watson retired today.
Wow. Brian, that is just incredibly unlucky for you.
Right, next matchup.
Our comedy is definitely a little hit or miss at the end here, Josh.
Yeah, no. Well, got a bladder full of urine, got to go pee.
Well, shouldn't have drank so much. Next matchup, we have Bradley, Breeze for Dreams versus Derek, the Walking Tacos. Brad's 1-3, Derek's 0-4. Bradley's currently projected to win 114 to 99 out of Derek. I just wrote in my notes, how the mighty have fallen. Derek has won this league twice, but he has the most points against this year, and a lot of his team is banged up as well. He's certainly the second unluckiest team behind Brian this year. So I'm giving the matchup to Brad just because Derek sucks this year. Sorry, Derek.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Brad as well. Sorry, Derek. Love you, buddy. But Tom Brady saggy nuts isn't going to carry you to victory this week. But if he does, make sure... Well, I guess I don't have Josh Gordon in this league.
Are you saying Tom Brady doesn't Botox his nuts?
He probably does.
You're goddamn right he does, Josh. He's a professional. Professionals have standards.
Next, we have Garrett, Mac and Cheese, silly name, versus T, Big League, even sillier name. Garrett's currently projected to win by 5, 110.8 to T's 105.8. I'm actually going to go with T on this one.
Yeah, we both picked an upset here. Looking at Garrett's team, he's got Baker, James Conner, Marlon Mack. Mike Evans has been solid lately, but then Robert Woods, Terry McLaurin, you don't know how he's going to bounce back from injury. Overall, I thought his team was just more questionable, even though T, I still say is going to come in dead last place. I think T steals one this week, so I agree with you there. Moving on to Nate versus Robin, Gold Team Rules versus Girls Rule Robin. We got the two rulers here, 12th and 10th place respectively, both 1 and 3. Nate's currently projected to win 100 to Robin's 98. It's going to be a close one. The only note I wrote down was woof. And for whatever reason in my gut, I picked Robin to win this one. I like Matt Ryan's matchup. Todd Gurley's been all right. Geronimo Allison, I just said, is going to be a top 5 this week. Noah Font had a touchdown, so I'm going Robin.
I went with Nate. I think Lamar Jackson and Tyler Boyd are going to have good weeks. Probably the only two players he needs to put in.
Should I just bench everyone else? Should we send him a text? Be like, hey, buddy, just bench everyone else.
That's good enough for me. Next, we have your matchup. Big Waller Brand Hammer, Mr. Hammer, I should say, versus Eastbound and Brown. Ladies. Hammer is 1 and 3. Gar, you're 2 and 2. Gar, you're currently projected to lose. Hammer is 121 to your 120.6. I gave you the edge in this one because Chris Godwin is projected, 15.5. Teddy Bridgewater is doing solid. Zeke is going against the Packers. So I think you have a chance.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so it's a pretty close projection right now. I wrote down that Hammer's team is boom or bust, except for Waller. Waller, I think, is certainly the most consistent team in Hammer's offense. I think Hammer's either going to have a 140-point performance or an 80-point performance. I said my squad's a little more consistent, not as booming. So, if all Andrew's players show up, then I'm certainly going to lose. But I've only dipped underneath 100 points once, so I like my odds of just staying consistent in that high 110 teens to the 120s range. So I think if I do that, I'll win this week. So I gave the win to myself as well.
Yep, and I'm going to go ahead and say that even though this is the closest projected game I see, it's going to be the game with the biggest differential.
This game's going to be the biggest blowout of the week, whether I'm losing or winning?
Yes.
Josh, wow, that is a bold prediction.
Bold.
All right, we have one final matchup, and that is Willie versus Jesse. Willie's 2-2 to Jesse's 3-1. Willie's Le'Veon La Vida Loca is projected 121 to Still Trying's 106.6. I mean, Willie's dominating this league. He has the most points for. He's currently projected to win by 15, and he, again, does not have a kicker in his lineup currently, so there's no way I can't give this game to Willie, despite Jesse being 3-1 some way, somehow.
Yeah, I think Jesse's going to get exposed here. I mean, he has a kicker on the IR in his lineup still. I don't think he knows how to change it, so I'm going to go ahead and say Willie. But I will say that despite that big the spread there, he probably has the biggest chance of covering that and winning, just because Willie is as unlucky as it gets this season.
Yeah, Willie's been having a tough go, but again, most points for. I like Willie's chances.
Yep, no, absolutely.
Any other thoughts this week for our specific fantasy league, Josh?
Not that I can think of. I mean, it's a great week 5, going forward. Your team blows in BSB.
Yeah, Josh, I'm having a rough go of it in BSB. That's for sure.
Yep, no, it's definitely. I see why you called me back into the fold. I updated some nicknames. Hopefully that'll help.
Hopefully.
I do have a note for Derek and T and Robin. Maybe update your team name. Make it a little bit more, have it a little bit more pizzazz. I find that a good team name is the first step to success in fantasy.
Okay.
That is why Fu Manchu is undefeated. That is why
Sherlock Mahomes
is undefeated. That is why Team Mitchell is 3-1. And that is why Brad is 1-3, because his is Breeze for Dreams.
Yeah, I don't understand that one at all. Still have no idea.
Still confusing me.
I personally like Big League. I thought that was a really funny team name, but you're right. It's a little stale. He could probably spice it up just a little bit.
Like here, let me just, I know you could start the closing sound if you want. We could say thank you as I'm talking, and
I'm not going to talk over you, but we can certainly stall here for another second while you're trying to find a better team name for T. Analyze his team real quick. I actually have thinking music just for this moment, Josh. We'll play some thinking music.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at it right now, and I mean, Thielen, you always got that. I've got a Thielen. That's stupid though. James White power.
I don't know if he should go with White Power as his team name.
Well, okay, then how about Pop, Lock It, and Drop It for Tyler Lockett?
It's not very original, but I do like it.
Commissioner Gordon, Melvin Gordon.
I'd like that one. That'd be a nice Batman reference.
There we go. Clam Crowder.
Yeah. Okay.
I beat my children till they bleed. AP.
Not a very popular one, probably.
Lick My Tate.
I like Lick My Tate. How about there's an app for that? You could do AP.
No.
All right. Well.
Goff My Dick.
Goff My Dick. All right, Josh. I am going to cut you off on the team names there. All right, Josh. We are now in the outro. Do you have any final words? Any final thoughts?
Love you, Nikita.
Oh, you're so cute. I'd like to thank our listeners. I'll say thank you, Nikita. Thank you. Land of 10,000 and late. We'll go with that one. Eric's, thank you. Eric Landvik again. Still have not heard from Eric Landvik in a long time. I think he's dead. Jamie Morissette, our third loyalist fan, self-proclaimed third loyalist fan. Thank you. Levi Oki. Thank you. Zach Wells.
Zach
Wells. Brian K. Nupp, if you're out there. I'm probably missing someone. Hammer. I don't know. Maybe he'll listen just because he contributed. Although I don't know if he'll want to listen. We're at 123 right now. But
woof.
YOLO Swag 420
It's only 7 p.m. Oh, 123.
You got me, Josh. All right, we're just gonna play the music now.
Do-do-do-do.
So, anyways, you were talking about coitus a moment ago. Do you want to further discuss our sexual relations in front of your wife?
I'm busy that day.
You don't look very busy. I can see you just sitting there right now.
Oh, you see, looking at T's line up here, laughing.
I would also laugh at T's lineup. It is we were tie up. Because what was his first two picks? Melvin Gordon and Adam Thielen? Woof. Oh, Josh. What's it like being so cute? Is that tough? Do you see you wake up at 5 in the morning to kill everyone that's cuter than you? Oh, I didn't tell people to engage the show at the end. Facebook.com/hoodpod. HiddenOaksOverdose@gmail.com. Because your dog is an emo artist.